It's the Diamond K Morning Show here on RadioOnFire.com. Thank you for joining me. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by the Hip Hop Hall of Fame Museum and Hotel, where hip hop culture and history lives. This Harlem, New York-based nonprofit 501c3 is focused on hip hop music and culture from around the world. For more information, visit hiphof.tv today. Now, Radio on Fire broadcasts reach over 278,000 viewers per month. Advertise your product, service, or event on Radio on Fire by sponsoring an episode of The Diamond K Show for as low as $50. Visit radioonfire.com/promo to get started. You know, many people that watch me regularly know that Jay-Z is one of my favorite rappers. One of my favorite. I think that he is the best rapper. Just that fact, I just wanted to say that. Really, that has nothing to do with today's story. So Jay-Z is, making his rounds, doing some interviews, and he sat down with Van Jones, who I also like. I think that Van Jones is a very, talented journalist and news broadcaster, and I think that he does his thing. So he has a show on CNN, and Jay-Z was a guest, and Jay-Z spoke about many things during this interview, and I had a small studio audience there as well. And Jay-Z's growing his hair out, doing he's doing that thing, and I think that in these type of conversations, he shows his maturity and he shows his growth whenever he's able to, speak on, some real political subjects. And Van Jones definitely got to some. Now, Jay-Z, as it relates to most things, I think that Jay-Z takes surprisingly a very political stance on things. Coming from the streets, he is not like, say, counterparts like Dame Dash that are more brash with comments. He kind of walks a professional line for the most part. And I think that is another reason why he's able to do big business, because he's able to speak about controversial subjects, but he can do it with class, even if the person he's speaking about has no class, as it relates to Donald Trump, right? So during this interview with Van Jones, he didn't hold his tongue when it came to Donald Trump. I want to say that he didn't hold his tongue, but I thought that he was, politically correct to a degree. So Donald Trump, of course, president of the United States, and speaking about Trump. Before we get there, what brought Trump up really was Donald Trump's racist comments about nations of Africa and the place being a shithole, and Haiti, etc. And Jay-Z said that these comments made by Donald Trump were hurtful, and he said though that this is how they talk behind closed doors, and I wanted to unpack that for a minute. That's true. That is true. That is how people that think like that talk behind closed doors. And of course, Jay-Z, being privy to some of the business that he's done, I'm sure that he has overheard or heard about people that, and maybe even had to do business with people who thought and felt like Donald Trump and Donald Sterling, who Jay-Z name dropped as well. And Jay-Z made a direct correlation between Donald Sterling and Donald Trump. Now, for those that remember, Donald Sterling was the former owner of the Clippers, the LA Clippers, and he made some racist comments, and they got him up out of there, forced him to sell his team. And Jay-Z said that he didn't personally think that that's what they should have done. He thought that should have been the opportunity to kind of address this type of racism. And he said that when you instantly, react like that to these racists, that makes them kind of go underground, and the closet racists kind of stay closet and hidden, and we don't know. And so he compared that situation, the Donald Sterling situation, and the consequences that he faced after he was publicly exposed for saying those racist things. And he said that was like spraying perfume, cologne, whatever, on a trash can. And so it immediately hides the smell, but it does not stop the stench. You know what I mean? And I thought that was profound. It was politically correct the way that he articulated it, but the point was made, and the point was a good point. That's true. These are things that happen, and I think that people of a certain age group, white people of a certain age group, a lot of them do think like Sterling and Trump and others. And I think that because of hip hop, the younger generation may not hold those beliefs of those parents and grandparents, may not. And of course, there are some that have those beliefs, but for the most part, that's something that's in that baby boomer generation. And so Jay-Z went on to say that when you do that, when you just boom, get them out of there, whatever, you don't change anything. Nothing is changed. And he said that when bugs come and you spray something, eventually you create a super bug because you did not take care of the problem. You did not take the trash out. You just kept spraying stuff. And you just keep spraying whatever over it to make it acceptable. And those things grow, and we create a super bug. And now we have Donald Trump. That's what Jay-Z said. I thought that was a profound statement. I agree with that 100%. Donald Trump definitely is a super bug. I was talking about this because I was saying, and we're going to talk about that more so tomorrow, but Steve Wynn, the casino giant, Las Vegas casino giant, they had him in charge of finances for the RNC. Now he's been forced to step down. He's a billionaire, billionaire. He's like a real billionaire, not like a fake billionaire. He's a real billionaire. And he has these sexual allegations, and the stock in his company's gone down, and they forced him to step down and all that. And I was saying that Donald Trump has had the same type of allegations, but nothing happens to him, right? Donald Trump is a super bug where these things affect other people, but they don't affect Trump. Even people close to Trump still not affected. Trump don't understand it. He is a super bug, and we need some raid in this bitch for real. But of course, Trump fires back because, of course, he feels the need to respond to Jay-Z. So Trump answers back, and Trump says that. Before we get to Trump's response, Jay-Z also said that Donald Trump is a man, he's a human, and something must have happened in his life to make him act this way. And he kind of tried to humanize Trump a bit. And that's more so where I was talking about the politically correct side of Jay-Z. And I thought that was fine because he is a human and something must have happened to him. Something inside of Trump or something along the way made Trump feel the need to bully people, feel the need to always have the last word, always be right, and all those things that he does. But I thought that Van Jones brought up some good points. He said that Donald Trump is hip hop, right? Is he the struggle, not the the braggadocious nature and that kind of thing. And Jay-Z said that Trump lacked the struggle, and that is why he's not a hip hop president or whatever. But of course, Donald Trump responding to the Van Jones interview with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z referring to him as a super bug. Of course, Trump took to Twitter to address Jay-Z, and Trump said this: "Somebody please inform Jay-Z that because of my policies, black unemployment has just been reported to be at the lowest rate ever recorded." That's what he said. And the Trump fan club, the Trump stans, of course, coming at Jay-Z. Some are saying, of course, the Tommy Lahrens of the world and these kind of people are going to say, of course, Jay-Z was a drug dealer and he did these negative things and he calls women bitches and blah, 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 blah. And these things are true. These are things that happened in his past. But Trump is much worse than that. And Jay-Z doing this, growing. He's steadily growing. He doesn't do that anymore. But yeah, I'm sure you can pull up things from everyone's past that are negative. Donald Trump going to Twitter to pat himself on the back. I thought it was also interesting that he chose to address Jay-Z, but not Eminem. And I think that a big part of that is Eminem, a white male, calling him out on his racism. He didn't want to have that battle with another white male, on those lines on that subject. But he would love to have the battle and go back and forth with black males. Of course, he responded to Ball and LeVar Ball, that is, and he responds to Jay-Z, but another white male calling him out on his racism, not so quick to respond. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Of course, I am here in Radio on Fire headquarters, Baltimore, Maryland. The brand new Radio on Fire live app is available for all Android devices. You can get that right now in the Google Play Store. The iOS version, the Apple version is coming soon. RadioOnFire.com. You can also check us out on YouTube. Videos there as well. So I will see you guys later. We're going to take a break, come back, and talk about Baltimore's own, one of Baltimore's own.